USS Squalus disaster. The USS Squalus disaster took place in 1939 during a test dive off the coast of New Hampshire. A mechanical failure caused the engine air intake valve to remain open, allowing seawater to flood the submarine as it submerged. The submarine quickly sank to the seafloor. 26 crew members died in the flooded compartments, but 33 sailors survived in the rear section. A complex rescue operation using a diving bell successfully brought the survivors to the surface. It became one of the first successful deep-sea submarine rescue missions and helped improve future rescue technology. USS Thresher disaster. The USS Thresher disaster occurred in 1963 during deep diving tests in the Atlantic Ocean. The American nuclear-powered submarine was testing its limits when a mechanical failure likely caused seawater to leak into electrical systems. This triggered a reactor shutdown, and the submarine lost power. Without propulsion, the vessel could not surface and sank deeper until the pressure crushed the hull. All 129 people on board were lost. The tragedy led the United States Navy to create the SubSafe program, which introduced extremely strict safety standards for submarine construction and maintenance. K-129 submarine disaster. The K-129 submarine disaster happened in 1968 when a Soviet ballistic missile submarine sank in the Pacific Ocean. The submarine was on patrol carrying nuclear missiles when it suddenly disappeared. Soviet search operations failed to locate it at the time. Years later, the United States secretly located the wreck and attempted to recover parts of it in a covert operation known as Project Azorian. The cause of the sinking remains unclear, but possible explanations include a missile explosion or mechanical failure. The event became one of the most famous underwater espionage stories of the Cold War. USS Scorpion disaster. The USS Scorpion disaster took place in 1968 when the American nuclear submarine disappeared in the Atlantic Ocean while returning from a mission. The submarine was later discovered thousands of meters below the ocean surface. All 99 crew members died. Investigations suggested several possible causes, including a torpedo malfunction or internal explosion. Because the exact cause was never fully confirmed, the accident remains one of the most mysterious submarine losses of the Cold War. It also highlighted the risks submarines faced during long underwater patrols. K-278 Komsomolets disaster. The K-278 Komsomolets disaster occurred in 1989 in the Norwegian Sea. The Soviet nuclear-powered submarine caught fire while submerged at great depth. Although the crew managed to surface the submarine, the fire continued spreading through the vessel. Some sailors escaped into life rafts, but the freezing Arctic water made survival extremely difficult. Eventually, the submarine sank, and 42 of the 69 crew members died. The accident demonstrated how dangerous onboard fires can be inside submarines and raised concerns about nuclear reactors and weapons resting on the seafloor. Kursk submarine disaster. The Kursk submarine disaster happened in 2000 in the Barents Sea during a Russian naval exercise. The nuclear-powered submarine K-141 Kursk suffered a massive explosion caused by a leaking torpedo fuel inside the torpedo room. The blast destroyed the front of the submarine and caused it to sink to the seafloor. Most of the crew died instantly, but some sailors in the rear compartments survived for several hours or even days. Russian rescue efforts struggled to reach the submarine, and eventually international help was requested. Norwegian divers later assisted in opening the escape hatch, but by that time all 118 crew members had died. The disaster shocked the world and exposed serious weaknesses in emergency response and submarine safety procedures. ARA San Juan disaster. The ARA San Juan disaster happened in 2017 when the Argentine submarine disappeared in the South Atlantic Ocean. The submarine had reported electrical problems caused by seawater entering through a faulty snorkel system. Shortly after that message, communication was lost. A large international search effort followed, involving ships and aircraft from many countries. A year later, the wreck was discovered deep underwater. All 44 crew members had died. The disaster brought attention to aging submarine fleets and the importance of proper maintenance. Titan sub. The Titan submersible disaster occurred in 2023 during a deep-sea expedition to view the wreck of the Titanic in the North Atlantic Ocean. The small tourist submersible, operated by OceanGate, lost contact with its support ship during the dive. After a large international search effort, investigators concluded that the vessel had suffered a catastrophic implosion under extreme ocean pressure. All 5 people on board were killed instantly. The tragedy raised serious concerns about safety regulations for private deep-sea exploration and highlighted the extreme risks involved in traveling to the deepest parts of the ocean.